Welcome from UJ to the 2022 SAAIR Institutional Research Institute. On behalf of UJ, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 2022 SAAIR Institutional Research Institute. Welcome to all the attendees and speakers. I would also like to warmly welcome the SAAIR Exco members and administrators. Thank you for partnering with the University of Johannesburg. Ladies and gentlemen, the function of IR has become embedded into the fabric of universities from both a global and local perspective. Progress of a university is strongly linked to prioritizing IR. In South Africa, IR capable of supporting the university's management and decision-making is required so that universities can respond to government imperatives. Therefore, IR allows organizations to progress and effectively plan and manage decisions. IR spans a wide range of areas by scanning the environment to identify risks, gather data, analyze data, support decision-making, and identify opportunities. IR is thus foundational to the strategy of the university. However, it is essential to limit the unnecessary expansion of the university bureaucracy in IR. Building a solid IR capability produces new and relevant knowledge on the institution. Integration of this knowledge across various parts of the institution is arguably the most significant contribution. Institutional researchers who can distribute information to different levels of the institution, from the senior leadership to support and academic departments, can strengthen the capability of the entire organization to boost institutional goals by achieving key performance indicators. We believe that UJ's journey is an important contribution to developing higher education in South Africa, a narrative of which staff and students at UJ are proud. The new institution was formed by incorporating two very culturally different institutions. In many ways, the development of UJ reflected the changes and adjustments that broader society faced as of the apartheid ideology, which specifically focused on instrumentalist pedagogy and restrictions. The new institution was large and spread across 5 campuses, and its comprehensive range of offerings ensured that it was very complex to manage. The UJ Annual Report 2005 notes that at the time, and I quote, "The most serious challenge facing management was to create stability amid the flux and uncertainty necessarily induced by the merger of these disparate institutions, each with different, in places widely different, institutional cultures. The interim nature of all governance structures further inhibited any dedicated long-term planning," close quote. At UJ, we realized the importance of IR, and the achievements of the university bear testament to this. Over the last 6 years or so, UJ has positioned itself as a national and international leader in its response to the technological shifts like 4IR. In 2015, UJ's Global Excellence and Stature Strategy, GES 1.0, initiated a developmental trajectory which was highly successful in terms of the university's global academic standing. With Professor Marwala as Vice-Chancellor in 2018, the strategy was reconceptualized as GES 4.0 to further advance and position UJ's strategic intent of attaining global excellence and stature. Specifically, UJ would seek to support the African continent as a leading African institution in a globally competitive environment. UJ is now widely recognized, both locally and internationally, as one of the leading institutions in matters relating to 4IR. We found that even with the sudden emergence of the global pandemic, it was apparent that our commitment and responsiveness, with some agility, were able to manage the unanticipated demand. COVID-19 undoubtedly accelerated and, to some extent, immediately forced some of the changes. We were pleased to be the first South African university to complete the academic calendar after adapting virtually, no pun intended, overnight to an exclusively online academic program. While the institution has at times comprehensively reviewed the original strategic plan and annually reflected upon and amended it as required, the basis for a very ambitious agenda for the institution's development was laid early on. UJ is bearing the fruits and has improved its global rankings again this year, having been ranked at position 412 at an all-time high in the QS rankings, climbing 22 places from position 434 in the world in last year's 2022 edition. Ladies and gentlemen, UJ is not simply interested in competing in the rankings, but the rankings are evidence of how responsive the university has been in relation to the higher education context. Institutional research has supported strategic planning and the implementation of the strategy at UJ. We believe that our future-oriented strategic planning and implementation will ensure the university's long-term sustainability despite the weakened economic and the adverse effects of funding of South African universities, which is a significant concern. This institute is the first SAAIR event that our Division for Institutional Planning, Evaluation and Monitoring, the hub of UJ's institutional research, has organized for SAAIR. We want to share some exciting ideas, practices, and perspectives with the community. We want to stimulate a conversation that will inspire all of us to work towards overcoming any challenges that our institutions face, which threaten the sustainability of universities. Each day, there will be 2 UJ speakers and 2 from other universities. There are various other success stories in South African higher education, and platforms such as SAAIR are vital in facilitating networking and sharing of knowledge and ideas for overall development of the sector. Today's overall theme of the Institute is understanding the context of IR. On day 2, we will delve into examining planning to implementation and end on the last day by exploring different challenges in the higher education context that institutional researchers face. Ladies and gentlemen, in my language, which is Setswana, and I'm going to loosely translate this, there's a saying that lions that do not work together fail to bring down a buffalo that is limping. By working together as an institute, I have no doubt that you are going to take your institutions forward. Most importantly, you are going to take the country and the continent forward. Ke a leboha, nyabonga. Thank you, bayadanki.
The University of Johannesburg, the future reimagined.